Andrew McCART, IFL TV in association with MTK Global. I'm here in Frisco, Texas. Once again, I'm delighted to be joined by my good friend. I'm going to call you my good friend because we must be friends by now. David Diamante, are we?
Andrew, we're buddies. We've been to enough places around the world, had enough broken bread enough times together. I could say we're friends.
Definitely. Well, let's talk about this huge card this Saturday night. I know you do your homework. I know you study each fighter when you come out on stage, the names, everything like that. Just break down this whole card for me. Eddie said it's the best card he's ever put on. What's your thoughts on it?
It's a really good card. You know, there's just a lot of great fighters on here, and a lot of guys that people should be watching. People like Espino and Pacheco and Madrimov. You know, obviously the heavyweights are on fire right now. Joseph Parker's on the card. Chocolatito is fighting Cal Yafai, which is a very compelling fight, and of course Julio Cesar El Rey Martinez. This guy he's one of my favorite fighters right now. The guy's just so exciting to watch, and I'm really excited for Jay Harris. I mean, you know, he comes from a bloodline of fighters. You know, his pops was a former champ, and I shouted him out, you know, former British champ, and, you know, coming from Swansea, from Wales. So he's undefeated. It's his first time taking a crack at a world title, and we'll see what happens. So, and of course, the top of the bill, it's a very compelling fight because, you know, Mikey Garcia to me is just class. I think he's a great fighter, but at 147, I just don't know what he has. You know, we haven't. I mean, his one fight was against Errol Spence, of course, and that didn't bode too well for him at 147. And Jesse Vargas is not a joke. Jesse Vargas is a hell of a fighter. He's a solid fighter. So it's a good fight. It's a compelling fight. I don't think anyone's going to take a backward step. Good card.
I'll go well for Mikey. Do you hope or want him to just go back down to 140? I think Eddie Hearn said as well that 140 is probably his best thing, but Eddie also said that he's a stubborn guy. If you tell him to do something, he's just going to go the opposite way. But as a personal, as somebody looking from the outside in, do you prefer Mikey down at 140?
Well, we'll see. I think this is going to be a good litmus test because, like I said, we saw him against Errol Spence. I think he's, at the time at least, he was the top dog at 147. I don't know if he is still currently, but he was at one time the boogeyman at 147, and that's when he took him on. Again, like I said, it didn't go well for him, but we'll see. We'll see what he can do against Jesse. I think he's the one that knows where he wants to be weight-wise. But I think Saturday night's going to tell us a lot. I mean, 140 is absolutely stacked, so there's tons of great fights at 140. I mean, obviously, we just talked about we got the Pro Gray Hooker fight coming up. Josh Taylor's, you know, fighting his man up at the SSE. You know, we got to see what happens with Jose Ramirez. There's just so many great fighters at 140, so there's no lack of guys to fight.
140, 147 pound division. It just seems these guys, if you can move up, there's top fights for you. If you can come down, there's top fights for you. It's a great time for boxing. You mentioned the heavyweights, but before I go on to like the fight, there's a little fight that happened last week, and before I get your opinion on that, so we'll talk about Joseph Parker. He's been out the ring 9-10 months. Like you said, the heavyweight division's on fire. Win for Joseph. Is his name back up there with the elites?
You know, Saturday, I don't know what Shondell Winter's going to bring. I mean, he's a tough fighter, but to me, 208, it's a little bit light to be fighting at heavyweight. It's one of those kind of in-between weights. These guys that come in at 208, 212, sometimes it's tough for them. Not saying he can't do it, but it can be a little bit hard. I mean, Joseph, I think, weighed in at 245 and a half or 3/4, something like that. So, you know, he's just a bigger guy, and weights matter. So I don't know so much what Saturday night's going to tell us, but I think for sure, I mean, he's ranked number 2 in the world by the WBO. I think he is for sure an elite heavyweight. I don't know if he's the elite heavyweight. He's the one that's going to have to plead that case with inside the ropes, but he's definitely up there, and he's in the conversation. So again, there's a lot of great names up there, and he's one of them.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about, obviously, I'm going to put you on the spot. I don't want to put you on the spot, in fact. Well, I'm going to anyway, you know. Pick a fight. Which fight are you most? Because like I'm looking at the names up on this big screen up there. You've got Yafai Gonzalez, Madrimov Navarro, Garcia Vargas, Martina Harris, Parker Winters. Which one are you most likely or excited to see?
I would say the main event and the Martinez Harris fight. I think those are. I mean, I think they're all good fights, but I think the Martinez Harris. I mean, that guy is just so must see at this time.
Martinez.
Yeah. He's must see. He's great. I mean, he's an animal, man. He's a savage. He just goes in there and just reckless abandon. It's like, you know, you saw what he did to Rosales, El Latigo, man. That Christopher Rosales is a top fighter, and he just dismantled him, you know. And obviously, you know, Charlie Edwards had a hell of a time with him. Yeah, he's looking good right now. So, but Harris has got the height. you know, if he can maybe box him, stay away. I don't know. We'll see. It's a tough ask right now. He's on fire. So I like that fight. And like I said, the main event, man, it's a really compelling fight because Jesse Vargas is a really solid fighter. You know, he's a solid fighter, and he's a true 147. Like, he was going to move up. I think he was going to go to 154, and he stayed at 147 to fight Mikey. And then you got Mikey, you know, coming up to 147 or staying at 147. So it's a tough ask. But, I mean, I think the world of Mikey Garcia. But, again, at 147, I just don't know. And he's the one that's going to have to plead his case inside the ropes. Like I said about Parker, same with Garcia. If he wants to stay 147, he's got to prove that to the boxing world. So we'll see Saturday night.
Definitely looking forward to the card. Should we talk about it then? The small fight that happened on Saturday night, last Saturday past. Do you want to talk about it? Let's talk about it then. Tyson Fury, Wilder. Tyson basically said he's going to come in and knock him out in 2 rounds. He's done it in 7, but he did say he was going to come in and charge Wilder. Then he said he's going to come in at 270. Everyone's saying that's too heavy. He just keeps on proving us wrong time and time again, doesn't he?
I think he's wonderful for boxing. I think his performance was unbelievable. I just can't wait to see an AJ Fury match. I think that would be incredible for the UK. Obviously, you know, we're over there all the time doing the fights, and we know how incredible the fans are, and they deserve this, and I love it. And I'm so happy for him. I'm happy for Tyson. I'm happy for the Brits. I'm happy for AJ that hopefully this fight will happen. I think it'll be great for both of their legacies. I think it should happen. Will it happen next? I don't know. You know, will Wilder take the step-aside money that people are saying he will or that he won't? I don't know. One thing I want to say, I think that, you know, there's been a lot of talk about his trainer, Ben Davison, and of course, with Sugar Hill now and this and that. But I just want to say, you know, a fighter at a certain age, it's hard to completely change his style. And I don't want to take credit away from Sugar Hill, and I don't want to give all credit to Ben Davison or whatever, but I just want to give the credit to Fury. Because I think he's the one, I think people are like, oh yeah, he did the right thing by leaving him, or he did the right thing by going to this guy. Again, I'm not inside their camp. I have no idea what's going on. But what I can say is that I think the one that's responsible for that W last Saturday was Tyson Fury. Because I believe that this was truly a case of round 13. Instead of round 1 of fight 2, it was round 13. You know, after the knockdown in the 12th round of the first fight, and he got up, he just realized like he had no choice but to move forward and to fight, and he won the rest of that 12th round. And I think that's when he got in his head like, if I go forward, if I bully this guy, I can hurt him. I can do this. And I think it was a pickup. So I think round 1 was actually round 13, and that was a perfect example of that. And I think he's the one to get the credit for it, not any trainer per se. I don't want to take any credit away or give credit to anyone, but just to Tyson. I think he's a hell of a fighter. He's got a hell of a story. He's an incredibly charismatic character, enigmatic character. And right now, you know, he's got the WBC strap. So props to him, and let's hopefully we get a unified champ.
You surprised that Tyson's stopping Wilder though? I mean, everyone had the consensus that it was going to be a Wilder knockout or a few of his points when, like most of us, were you surprised at the fact that he managed to drop him twice and stop him while the towel got thrown in the 7th?
I absolutely was surprised. I was surprised. It was great. But I mean, that's you know, when a guy's 6'9" and he's carrying that much weight and he knows how to fight, like, fight, and he did, and he hurt the guy, and it was beautiful. And I think he's emboldened now to know that he can be aggressive and he can stop people and he can put people to sleep. He can stretch guys.
My sunglasses and that glare's killing my eyes. I can hardly see you this better.
I mean, yeah. I mean, because of his. I mean, look, he's got stoppages in the past, but usually it was kind of breakdowns. This was just like he went out and dominated. And not only that, I want to give credit to him too, because in round 1, man, Wilder cracked him really nice. Fury took it, man. He stood there. He took a couple big shots in that fight. But I remember for sure one time in round 1, he got cracked really nice. A good, solid connection from Wilder. He stood there, nothing. You know, his chin, his beard was solid. And he did what he needed to do, man. Hats off to him. Props. It's a great fight.
What's your thoughts on?
I don't know if it was a great fight. It was exciting. Great performance. It was exciting to watch.
Yeah, I echo that as well. It was a great performance from Tyson Fury. What do you make of Wilder coming out and saying that his costume was too heavy and his legs were tight coming in, and then obviously the comments he made about Breland throwing in the towel? I mean, that's what a coach's job is, to save his fighter from harm, isn't it? If the fight's a one-sided fight. But what were your thoughts on the costume and Breland stopping the fight?
I mean, I'm a Brooklyn guy, so I'll never go against Breland. Mark Breland is class all the way through and through. You know, I respect that Wilder wants to go out on a shield because he's got the heart of a champion. Excuses are just that. It is what it is. It's a costume excuse, you know. Make of it what you want, man. I don't know. But, you know, Mark Breland was doing what he thought was the right thing for his charge.
Definitely, definitely. Well, you mentioned the AJ fight. AJ and Tyson Fury hold all the belts, Ring Magazine, WBC, IBF, IBO, WBA, WBO, all the belts are on our side of the pond. You come across for fights all the time. How excited are you? You said yourself, it might not get made next because it is mandatory out the way, but how excited is you, not as David the announcer, but David as the fan, for that fight to be made?
I mean, it's the fight. It's the fight. Right now, that's the fight. It is the biggest fight in boxing, 100%. And it will be a major, major fight. I mean, obviously, they got to get past their next men. You know, I think AJ is going to fight Pulev. That's what it's sounding like. You know, I don't know all the specifics of that just yet, or I wouldn't say whatever I know. But, you know, supposedly he's going to fight Pulev next, and supposedly Fury's going to fight Wilder again. Who knows? But if they can meet for the undisputed, it'd be amazing.
Do you have a winner on that fight? I know you probably can't pick, but...
Well, I mean, we'll have to wait till the time comes because a lot of things can happen between now and then. But it's a compelling fight for a lot of different reasons. I mean, I think if you just break it down looking at the fighters, you know, I think AJ boxes better than Wilder. I think AJ has a huge punch. I think people love to talk about how Wilder had that great punch, which he does, no doubt. But, dude, AJ can punch. AJ has a huge punch. So... he can hurt anyone. And now Fury with his boxing skill, and now he's being aggressive. He's 6'9". He knows he can carry his weight. He knows he can still move. He knows he can throw that jab with authority and really hurt people. I mean, you look at a guy like a Lennox Lewis. I mean, his jab is like a power punch. And if Fury uses it like that, like the way he's using it, it's like a power punch. He can knock anyone out. So, you know, and AJ's shown weakness in his chin before. You know, there's been some you know, knockouts on his side or knockdowns, stuff like that. So, you know, it's just a compelling matchup. Anything can happen, and that's why we watch. Exactly. You know,
that's why we love the sport as fans. Big John Fury, Tyson's dad, basically said in an interview with IFL a couple of days ago that if AJ fights Tyson, his son, it's going to ruin Eddie Hearn and AJ. What's your thoughts on Big John's comments? He was right about the stuff that he was saying pre-fight coming into the Wilder fight, but would you argue against Big John?
I mean, when you say he'll ruin him, like how? What do you mean?
I think like in terms of the fight and stuff like that, it would because obviously Joshua's the big guy. If he loses twice, then that's it done. But he's confident that his son's going to go in there and do the business. Well, as he should, because it's his son, I suppose.
As he should.
Yeah.
As he should. I mean, you know, I would never go against that family. I think they're great. First of all, by the way, they're great, man. I think they're great for the sport. Like I said, they're enigmatic. And hats off to him. But it's a great fight. I just want to see it, you know. I don't think anyone's going to ruin anyone. I think, you know, someone might win the fight. It's all, like, again, like, you know, you look at guys like Muhammad Ali and you look at these great champions and Sugar Ray Leonard. These guys have losses, man. They come back. So it's all how you do it. I mean, we were just not too many months ago talking about how, man, AJ's, well, I wasn't talking about, but a lot of people are saying AJ's done. He's not going to come back. Ruiz is going to beat him again and this and that and the other. And look, now he's on top of the world again. So, you know, and people were talking about Fury and the Otto Wallen fight. He got cut. He didn't look great, blah, blah, blah. He was out of shape, this and that. And now, look, he's on top of the world. So people can be knocked down and reinvent. I mean, we were in Phoenix recently, and Phoenix is rising from the ashes. And that's really what a lot of times makes a real champion. It's how you deal with adversity. So I love that he backs his charge, his son, of course, as he should. Will it ruin Eddie and AJ? I don't know about all that, but, you know, that has yet to be seen.
Won't keep you much longer, David. I think there's a football getting slung about on this because we're on an American football field right now. Should we go and play some American football? You up for that?
No, not here on not on the gridiron. But yeah, we are in the end zone here at Cowboys.
See if I can get down on
at Ford, Texas. Yeah.
Yeah, there's the Cowboys. Yeah.
So, Frisco, Texas, the Ford Center. So it's gonna be a great card. So we'll see you guys, and then next week I'll be in Manchester. So See you in Manchester, England.
Definitely. Well, I'll see you everywhere nowadays. So, like you said, we're buddies. We've been all over the world together, it seems. So, that's what buddies do, right?
That's it, man. The fight starts now.